Hello, hello. So excited to be here first. Be at home is where I am. But hey, I wanted to start off and just ask a quick question. So, first, are you getting on stages now, but not being asked back? Are you finding yourself like, I want to get on more stages? What is it where is the disconnect? Well, if that is you, then we got a treat for you today. All right. I am here with my friend Nicolette Moore, and we are going to be talking about how to speak on more stages, how to be asked to speak on more stages, and giving some tips on where the disconnect is and how to create that connection so you can be speaking on stages, getting amazing opportunities, and stepping into your brand voice, right? Creating the messaging that works for you. So, first, let me quickly introduce myself. I am Ilika Follette, and I am a business strategist. I work with wellness entrepreneurs to really step into their own visibility, be the in demand person in their industry through visibility strategies, productivity hacks, and also mindset shifts. So you get to work less, live more, and feel better because I am all about getting your time back and living your best life. All right, creating the business that aligns with your life. So today, I have here my friend Nicolette Moore. I'm going to let her introduce herself and what she does as well.
Yeah, thanks, Alika, for having me. Super excited to be here. And I am the founder of Unicorn Talks, where we provide a stage for emerging speakers. And I have been working as a brand strategist. So I help newer entrepreneurs to discover what makes them special. And I like to say that my special gift is helping you find yours. And so I love to help find the thing that makes you uniquely you and help you craft a message around it so that you can build a brand that is attractive to your right people, growing your business and getting you, really bringing you into the kind of life that you want to create. Your message is your purpose. And so we like to help you discover what that is.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
And so Nicolette was actually speaking she was one of the speakers at our Reclaim Your Influence event last week. I guess it was, well, I guess almost 2 weeks ago. No,
Oh my
exactly 2 weeks ago
gosh.
now.
That is
Right, isn't that crazy?
wild.
I
That's so
know.
crazy.
So, and at the event, it was one of these situations where, when you talked about Unicorn Talks and how it connects like your brand and the messaging that you want to provide to that audience in a way that feels good and feels right, it
Mhm.
was like a game changer. Folks who were at the event in person literally signed up, right? They signed up on the spot, and because they knew that it was something that could really help them shift. You know,
Mhm.
if you would, if you, I can't even talk right now. It's been a long day. If you wouldn't mind, could you give us a quick rundown of what Unicorn Talks is and what it does? Because I think it's an absolutely cool thing. So I would love to hear for you to kind of share a little bit of it.
100%. So Unicorn Talks is very unique. It's a very rare program. You're not going to find a whole lot of us out there. We are unicorns. So this is essentially a speaking program, and the entire intention behind the program is to help you create, identify, and craft a talk that builds your brand. So essentially taking some of your most precious stories that have led you to where you are today and help you to craft it in a way that actually is monetizable, is something that you can weave into presentations, master classes, keynote speeches, and whatnot. So we help you to take your story and turn it into a 5-minute talk. And I've had people ask, why 5 minutes? Let me tell you, if you can't tell your story in 5 minutes, I don't want to hear it in 20. Like it's really important to have laser focus and understand what is valuable to share in your story versus what doesn't need to be told. Sometimes words actually take from the audience rather than give.
Yeah.
So we help you to craft that. And then at the end, we have a competition. I call it the cherry on top. We have a panel of judges who come in and we select the top 10 who really crush their talks. And then
Mhm.
they get to present in front of a live audience, in front of a judge panel. But I say everyone's a winner. We provide a ton of value and assets to the speakers that come through. So you walk away looking like a pro and sounding like one too.
Yeah, and that's a game changer, especially because I know that, folks get an opportunity to work with, a champion Toastmaster,
Yes.
guiding them through their talk, so you're getting real feedback. Like,
Yes.
I always think about it, and when I think about I think I mentioned this while we were at the retreat last week or whenever it was, 2 weeks ago at this point, but I mentioned how my first talk when I went up and did my first talk, in the audience, like I did my talk, and this was like 2020, and I was really proud that someone had asked me. It was my friend Erica. She was there at our retreat as well. She asked me to come and speak at her event. So I'd flown down and I got up there and I spoke, and people clapped, and I was like, oh, I did amazing. I'm so proud, right? Yay, me, right?
Yay
And
me.
right. But here's the thing. Afterwards, I went and watched it because she had recorded the live version of our talk. And I was like, what the heck was I saying? Like
Mhm.
that did not come together the way I thought it did, you know? And even then, it was like talking to people in the audience, they're saying, oh, you did great. You did great, right?
Mhm.
But here's what happens is when you don't get that real feedback, that real honest feedback that's going to help you to progress in your talk, nothing really changes. I
Right.
could have just walked away and not if had I not looked at my talk, I could be doing that same talk for the next 4 years and nobody asking me to come back, right? Erica
Yes.
asked me to come back because we were friends. I'm confident, but it wasn't because my talk was so good, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it's important, right?
100%. I'll say I was just on a call with somebody who's signing up for Unicorn Talks,
Mhm,
and she told me her story, beautiful
mhm,
person, heart of gold,
yeah.
and yet her story didn't land. There
Mm,
was a disconnect between her story and what she's doing, what she's up to in the world. And I was able to pull out, identify some areas that I was like, this does not land for me.
mhm.
I like to talk about the um, what is it called, Alika? Remind me. The
Let me read your
there's
mind.
there is the curse of knowledge. So
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens is whenever you're telling your story, it's so intimate to you.
Mhm,
And you think in your head that the words that are coming out of your mouth are landing as powerfully with the audience as
mhm.
they mean to you.
Right.
And people can say, like, I listened to her story and I was like, that's a good story, but it doesn't land the plane,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
It does not paint the picture of what she's
Mm,
trying to accomplish in sharing that story that would lead to somebody being interested in working with her. So
exactly.
there's a lot of nuances and different ways that you have to think about the way that you present your story, and it's a work
Mhm.
in progress. I've,
Right.
my key story really revolves around my daughter,
Mhm.
and I have told that story countless times. And
Mm,
every time I tell it, I've had incredible success through telling this story. I've had clients generated directly because I've told this story,
mm,
and I still have opportunity to tell it better. And I
mhm.
only
That's it.
get that feedback when I work with my coach.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that you have so much power in your message,
Mhm.
not having that insight and that coaching on how to peel back the layers and discard the things that do not serve the story for the
Yeah,
audience, not that they
exactly.
don't have value, but for the audience.
Mhm.
And then being able to learn how to package it up with a bow to deliver.
Yeah,
When you don't have that, it's like you're kind of you're s- you're not only lacking for yourself in your
mm,
ability to make the impact that you want, but
yeah,
you're also kind of not serving the audience in the way that you really could. Like it's almost stealing from the audience
yeah.
that gift that you have that they
Ex
can't even experience from you.
exactly, because painting the picture, that's what creates the impact, as you just said, and then even going further, like, for the folks who are watching, who are coaches or who are, looking to get on more stages and speak more, right? One of the things that you said that really stood out is that when you told your story when you tell your story about your daughter, and I've heard the story, and it's a really impactful story. And when you tell that story, it lands with the audience in a way that's like, wow, I
Mhm.
want to be a part of what she's doing.
Yeah.
And that's where the game changes. Whereas sometimes we go into things and we're all over the place, but we don't realize we're all over the place with the wording, right? And maybe you've had a situation where you've done really well on stages, but you had an hour to speak. Guess what?
Mhm.
Sometimes when you're selling your product or your service, or even when you're speaking on stages, you don't have a full hour.
Mhm.
You have 5 minutes, you have 10 minutes. Which what was really cool during our retreat was that during the Reclaim Your Influence event last week, whenever it was, there was there was a woman there who she found out that she was speaking probably
Mhm.
12 hours before she was speaking, right? And so she was able to take her 5-minute talk and turn it into her talk
Yes.
because it's crafted so well in those 5 minutes, it gets to be turned into a 20-minute talk or even an hour talk by adding a few things. But if you don't have that 5-minute talk down, it's a lot harder to create that 20-minute or hour talk when you have the stage to be able to do it.
Well, and it can be less effective too,
Exactly.
right? Like you
Mhm.
said, if you're telling a story and there's like bits and pieces all over,
Yeah.
my coach and I, we call it the IKEA maze of death. It's like
Mhm.
you're in the middle of IKEA store and somebody's talking and you're like, "Where is the exit? Like,
Right. You
where
no
are
clue.
we going,
No
people?"
clue. Yeah.
And so you know that there's really 2 types of stories. There's a powerful, impactful story, and then there's a story that you wish you hadn't heard.
Right. You want your time back.
You want your
You want those 20 minutes back.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so true. And you know what? One of the things that I say to folks who are watching right now, if you're like, you know what, I do want to put together this my 5-minute talk. I do want to get feedback. I do want to, frankly, get on more stages, and I want to be asked back to the stages I've been on. Then this, I would say, I've already put the link in the comments for Unicorn Talk. This is a game changer, right? And it's a no-brainer price. It literally is no-brainer, right? Um, like Nicolette's doing this because it's something that she feels is needed, right? It's something that she's experienced, I've experienced, where we've created a talk, been really excited about it, and it didn't land because our stories didn't land like it should have,
Correct.
right? And being in that space, it's not fun, frankly. And many have been in a space where they've lost or they've lost an opportunity to work with a client because their story didn't land the way it could have.
You really do miss money. Like, you miss
Mhm.
an opportunity to generate a client, to grow your
Mhm.
business when you don't tell your story powerfully. And I can attest, I
Mhm.
think I said this at the beginning.
Mhm.
Every time I tell my story, I get at least one client. It's
Yeah.
wild. It's like I should be telling
Mhm.
my story every day.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It'd be tough to tell it every day, to be
Yeah.
honest. I know. But it's so true. It's like when you really are reaching that audience and reaching the hearts of those people and allowing them to sense it in different ways. So many folks who are watching, you know my background, you know a little bit of my background, how, I'm an NLP master practitioner. And when we're searching, when we're studying NLP, one of the things that we talk about is the way people receive information,
Mm.
kinesthetic, visual, audio, these different ways. And so in your story, when you're taught to paint that picture in a certain way, if you tell it effectively, what happens is people will feel it, they will see it, they will hear it, they will sense it, they will smell it, they will feel like they are in that story, in that situation with you.
Mhm.
And now they're ready to take action. And that's the game changer. So if you can link onto a no-brainer price here with Unicorn Talks, hop into this program and get your story aligned. And not only is it aligned to be more effective and impactful, but it's also aligned to your brand and what you do, right?
100%. Yes.
And what's really cool is, like, if you'll hear, I'm sure you'll, if you go and follow Nicolette, you'll hear her story. At some point she'll share her story with you. What you'll hear in that story is that if you think about what she does, she talked about what she does overall. Her story isn't even like it's not a one-to-one, this story aligns with what I do, right? But you've learned a way and you've created a way and you're sharing a way to take a story, any story almost, and align it to your brand and your messaging.
Mhm.
And that is the unicorn. That right there is the game changer,
Yeah.
when you think about it, right? It's like, so because there's someone out here right now who's like, well, I don't even have a story. Everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story.
You have at
Mhm.
least one, and no, and we're not necessarily talking about your entire life story, right? It can be
No.
one instance that
Yeah.
turns into a story that you're actually able to use in your products, in your services, in your sales calls, in when you're on stage speaking at an event, whether you're at a college or a church or whatever you're speaking at, you're able to take that and turn it into something. And it's
100%.
game changing. It's
Yes.
game changing. Yep. So I want to tell everyone out there, like you all don't see me on here talking about other people's stuff like this heavily, right? But I really believe in what Nicolette has. So I would say definitely go to that link. You'll see it right here, Unicorn Talks. I even have a little code with my name in it, right? Go to that link, get into Unicorn Talks, and if you sign up using that link, you also will be able to go live with me on all my channels the way Nicolette is right now. So that's a huge game changer as well, because now you're reaching additional audiences with your talk, and
Yes.
you have the ability to do it now because you've worked with Nicolette and Unicorn Talks to create your signature talk, your 5-minute talk. So game changing.
Yes. 100%.
Nicolette, do you have one last tip that you want to share with the audience as we go ahead and head out?
I was going to say one thing, but I think I'll leave with another.
Mhm.
Your story matters.
Yes.
If I could leave one tip with you today, it would be it is your advantage to learn how to craft it powerfully, because when you do, that is the key to your future. That is the key to your relevancy. This is your key to creating that connection, bridging that gap between what it is that you do and the people that you want to serve. This
Mhm.
is the most powerful asset you have. So my tip for you is to take it fucking seriously. Pardon the
Mhm.
F-bomb, but take it super seriously. And even if it's not with me,
Mhm.
find another provider to go and help craft your message, because my life and generations, literally generations of humans, my children, are being impacted because of the power of one 4-minute talk.
Mhm.
You have the ability to change the world, and I fully believe it. I believe that your story does that. So my tip to you is take it serious as life and death. And
Mhm.
I'm going to leave you with that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It is that serious, and just to highlight, so we're both moms of a ton of people. We have a ton of people that
Yes, I
came
know
from us.
most people.
So that means there's a ton of people, a full generation, like you said, that are really being impacted
Yes.
by this story, and your story has the ability to do it.
Yes.
So get on in, go to the comments, sign up for Unicorn Talks, get your story together, get it told, and be able to shift. It's a game changer. All right. So we will see you all soon. Thank you for joining.
Thank
Hopefully,
you,
I'm
Elise.
able to turn it off on Instagram too, because this is my first time going live on Instagram through StreamYard. So we'll see what happens.
It's all good. Ooh,
Right. We got it.
yes.
Talk soon, everyone.